Hi, today we are meeting Bhavna Ramrakhiani. If you're from Ahmedabad, you may have seen her, heard of her, but today we are going to talk to her and give you a little brief about Bhavna. She's an Ahmedabad girl to some extent, but been around the country, if I'm right.
Yes.
Studied at Xavier's College and Gujarat University, and then gone on to the City College at New York. She's founded several different organizations, mostly to do with people
Yes.
and improving people's lives. So today we're going to talk about Saanjhi Virasat, her latest foundation, and something that I've also been involved with. It's very interesting. Also, a need of the hour, I would say, in a city like Ahmedabad. So, Bhavna,
Yeah.
what brings you into this sphere of setting something up like Saanjhi Virasat? Explain where you got the name from and what motivated you to do this.
So, Saanjhi Virasat obviously is not the first organization that I've set up or the first platform that I've set up. It has a long history of my work at Sarkej Rosa. That goes again back 25 years. And Sarkej Rosa again stems from my work at the Ahmedabad Community Foundation, where I started to work on city issues. So I said, because I'm in Ahmedabad, I cannot ignore heritage as an issue. And that's where my work at Sarkej Rosa started. And then going on to work, I realized that I have to go beyond the threshold of Sarkej Rosa. I have to scale up. I have to involve citizens in the work of heritage, in looking after our heritage, in feeling responsible for our heritage. So that's why the whole word of Saanjhi Virasat. Of course, there are many, many connotations to the word Saanjhi Virasat, which we will explore as the podcast goes deeper.
You mentioned heritage in Sarkhet. What does that mean to you? Because heritage, I have discovered, is a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But I look at heritage in a very holistic manner. What I'm wearing, my bangle is heritage. I picked it up from a shop in Bharuch, and you no longer can get ivory bangles like this, right? So, yeah, there's so much heritage that we live with, surrounded by.
Yes. So, I think one of the most basic questions that connects us to our heritage and which we are accosted with in India is "Tame kya na?" And that is also a way to start conversations.
Conversation, yes.
More than just being an intrusive question. And I always found that so difficult to answer because I come from a refugee family. My grandparents from both sides migrated to India from Sindh. And I have never really had any one place that I could call my village or my native place. So, and given the need of the hour where you had to start off from scratch, so you went for jobs wherever you got them, and that was the condition of the family, both for my grandfather and my father. And my father's job was such that it kind of took us to various cities across the country and in Gujarat. So for me, there was always that intense need to kind of feel anchored somewhere. And when I used to see heritage monuments, I used to feel that, oh, these have been around for so long. They must, when you look at a heritage monument, you feel that it connects you.
Yeah.
It's something that you...
it has seen so much life.
Yes. But also that there is most usually there is a community that's attached to it, because it kind of addresses a belief system. So whether it's a mandir, whether it's a derasar, whether it's a mosque, whether it's a synagogue or a church, obviously there is a whole cultural meaning to that monument. So for me, that was, that was what we call our shared heritage. Because I also believe that such things come from a long line. It's from a treasure chest of wisdom and knowledge.
Veering a little off.
Yeah.
Most people who have been displaced all talk about going home, all talk about their right to have that space back. How dare somebody else and all that. I have never heard that from the Sindhi community.
Yes, because they made the whole world their home. Because when partition happened, it was not as if all Sindhis came to India. They went to different parts of the world, and wherever they were, they made it their home. They set it up, and they have got involved in creating institutions, mainly for education, mainly as hospitals also, Bombay being a case in point. So, yeah, so that's how it's been for the community.
But isn't it strange that the name of our country comes from the Sindhu, Hindu, Indu?
Yes.
And it's that community that has actually become, it's very much in a sense like the Jewish people. But the Jewish always said next year in Jerusalem. I don't think the Sindhis do that. They're just happy wherever they are.
Yes.
And I think they're very integrated wherever they are. I think it's a huge, huge message to the world as it is today.
Right, right.
What, according to you, are the biggest threats to heritage faced today in India and maybe to some extent also globally?
Well, I think it is a lack of understanding of what it actually means. Our connecting, our giving it meaning of culture, our, need to readily adopt what is from the West. And in the process, then we lose our own identity, which is attached to that culture. So that becomes one major threat when you are not willing to take an ownership of what exists, whether it is an intangible part of culture or whether it's your built heritage and culture. So that being one. The other, again, majorly is where it's not a priority for our governments. That is also an issue. Maybe there are many other issues that need, attention, but I feel that it's very important to have heritage on a priority list.
I think so too. What do you have if you don't have something from before, right? What will your kids look back at? And it's also kind of forming us into who we are, where we come from, etc.
True.
So I would say, especially in our case, where we formed a very large part of South and Southeast Asia, where the influence was not just one way, but two ways and maybe more ways. It's a little sad when we don't talk about our joint heritage. Joint heritage is then also including the Westerners and the Northerners and whoever kind of crossed our path. We can't wipe them away, kind of.
Absolutely.
Because so much of who we are is defined by those paths that cross.
Influences.
The cross-pollination, as I always call it.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So in that sense, heritage is important in every way because somebody has written about what they saw. We may have lost that whole thing. This happened to me, for example, when I lived in Europe, and a girl who had shifted in from London to Amsterdam, but was brought up in East Africa, spoke a language, a Gujarati, that we have never spoken. There was so old and outdated.
Hmm.
The same happens when you hear Surinamese people in the Netherlands speaking this old Bihari, Odisha, Uttar Pradeshi language.
Right.
And you think these people are a little outdated, like
Right.
really outdated. And
what about the Siddhis?
the Siddhi is the same
Yes,
thing, yes.
yes.
So the beauty of India, I would say, in that sense, is so much has crossed its
Yes.
path, and especially in Gujarat, where you could almost say we were that, that center point for everything that turned around. It would be really sad if we kind of lost touch with the heritage that we have, because aspects of a little bit of the Turkish, a little bit of the Georgian, a little bit of the Armenian, all of it is here.
Yes.
Chinese.
Absolutely.
Because my grandmother always told me that the Chinese would come, bearing textile and what Parsis always wore sapat. For footwear. For the longest, I think till my great-grandmother, I saw sapats in the house. And your hairdresser was always a Chinese person.
And even the garas have Chinese influence
yes,
and Chinese
totally.
motifs.
It is all Chinese embroidery.
Yes,
I mean, the Parsis have just adopted it and now call it theirs, but it's absolutely Chinese. Even the fabric is so typically what the Chinese would embroider on, right?
Yes, that light.
So heritage is so many things, and some of it lives on, like this Gara that has got its new life.
Talking about what lives on, I just returned from Central Asia, and I was surprised to see iron grills, designs of iron grills that we find in every first floor balcony of the poles.
Yeah.
Those are, we call them our own. We've seen them repeated again and again, but those are very Central Asian Seljuk designs.
Yes. So at one time, I kind of followed the whole Silk route, each country at a time, and looked at their crafts and patterns and motifs. And then you actually realize how much is gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Absolutely.
And we just, no, that's ours, that's ours. No, nothing is yours. It just belongs to all of us.
That's why the name Saanjhi Virasat.
Correct. Let's get there then.
Yes.
What does Saanjhi Virasat mean then?
So, Saanjhi means ours, shared, belonging to everyone. Virasat is, of course, heritage. So, the idea that what we see today in terms of buildings, what we would call medieval ancient buildings, again, comes from a treasure chest of knowledge. It is not just one source, whether it's in terms of motives, whether it is in terms of planning the campus, whether it is in terms of planning the whole architecture. There is a whole, a whole backing of knowledge that existed, which is then kind of brought forth. And it does not necessarily mean that there was any one-to-one exchange, direct exchange. I can learn just from seeing the building, and I can then choose to replicate it. So that where you are not dividing any monument on the basis of its religion, because I believe that all this knowledge surpassed those boundaries, transcended those boundaries.
Absolutely, because you can see in architecture especially the exact motif or piece of construction that was borrowed.
Right.
A moonstone, which is such, at the entry, which is a very Buddhist thing. Now you see it at the entrance of a mosque, and you see it at the entrance of a Jain temple.
Yes.
And I think they were the same workers. Maybe you had a workshop of woodwork, and you had workshops of sandstone masons, and you had a workshop of marble workers. But basically, they all kind of worked together.
Right.
And did all the buildings.
Right.
They were not bothered by who the client was.
No, because their patrons may have changed. Like for Sarkhej Rosa, you can see that very clearly. You see the influences of the Jain and the Hindu architecture. But because your patrons had changed and there was a religious framework in which they had to function, which meant that there was no replication of living beings that was allowed, you then built your structures like that.
Yeah,
But all geometric patterns have been very profusely used.
Yes, yes. And geometry is, of course, the, how should I say, a prerequisite of Islamic art.
Yes, absolutely.
So we have a lot of work, and there's tons of things standing here and there and everywhere. You've been recently also talking about one of these palaces,
Yes.
which is being
It's the palace that was built by Abdurrahim Khane Khanan, who was one of the Navratnas of Akbar's court. And he built that on the site of the battleground. And it's a very beautiful location because the river used to flow by it. And he built that. It took him like about 4 or 5 years to build it, but because it is not a protected monument, it lies in ruins right now. Unfortunately, our policy in the revenue records does not understand or does not recognize any structure on a piece of land. It is just the piece of land that is recognized, and because it's not a protected monument, it does not get any attention from any quarter.
So, what do you think about the legal conditions that exist? I mean, there is an ASI, there is a state ASI with whom also I have worked in the past.
Yes.
But there is a lot that is missing. We've done a lot on heritage. We've shouted a lot about it. We've got the Ahmedabad recognition for
Yes,
UNESCO.
Yes.
But I still feel that beyond just saying we are a World Heritage City has not actually gone into people's minds as to what it actually means. And that you can't touch something now because it's part of the UNESCO Heritage City. So you can't just break even something from the 1970s and build something new without, going through a proper procedure. And then if you're building in a certain area, you can only build with certain kind of materials and things like that.
Yes.
So I think in my eyes there's a lot of gap, but because you work closely, maybe you have better understanding on it.
So from the point of view of policy, I would say the policy is quite watertight. But the gaps come when it comes to the implementation. In terms of the understanding, in terms of, so there are a lot of cultural gaps here, in the sense that heritage is we have so much of it that it is just not possible for the government to be doing everything.
Correct.
But at the same time, our policy and our the way we approach heritage, or the way the state approaches heritage, the ASI, so to speak, has the attitude that keep people out. That doesn't help.
True.
Just because of the scale that we have, it is very important that people also take ownership of what exists. And that people with the correct understanding, of the policy, with the correct understanding of how to go about it, that they also become partners in that restoration or conservation and even promotion. So the important thing is that, and it's not as if efforts to that effect haven't happened in the past, where you have the National Culture Fund that was set up by the ASI, where you allow private enterprises or people to take part and become collaborators for the conservation of a heritage monument. But unfortunately, it is still not, those bridges are still not complete.
What I also find in India is that you may do an activity right now, but 10 years down the line, it's watered away because those initial people who were convinced have grown up or moved away, and a new generation has come in its place, which has not been addressed.
And it, because it's not part of the education system,
Yeah.
it's not part of the, part of the training of a young citizen when they become adults.
Yes, so I think the fact that you should have pride in your country
Yes.
goes way beyond
Yes.
just, your flag on 15th and 26th of January.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, actually taking care of these things is being patriotic, more in my
Yes,
opinion,
yes.
than, playing nationalistic songs and things like that on the radio.
And it has to begin with, not littering, not
Yes,
doing graffiti
yes,
on your
yes,
monuments or
yes.
on the, or even on any public space.
Basically, understanding that public space is yours.
Is yours, yeah.
It's like your home.
Yes.
If you don't do kachra in your home, you can't do kachra here.
It's an extension. It has to
Yes.
be viewed as an extension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you damage a bus when you're angry,
Correct.
it's your property that you're damaging.
Absolutely.
The city is ours, the government is ours, the country is ours.
Absolutely.
So I never understood this thing. No, we'll go and smash this and break this. Arey, it's your own thing that you're
must have-
destroying.
There is a reel that's going viral on social media of, people visiting the Taj Mahal and
Yeah.
are being unable to stand the stench and the, the visuals of all
Yes.
the garbage around. I
Yes.
think that's so sad.
That's
That's so sad. And it cannot be just the government's responsibility.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
It
It is
just has
actually,
to-
I think now, the consumer as well as the producer.
Yes. Yes.
So, in the West, when you receive goods, the packaging, disposal of the packaging is part of your problem.
Yeah.
So they will then tell the person who's sending it that, hey, listen, reduce the packaging because I have to pay to dispose it here.
Correct. Correct.
But now when you send from India, considering the situation of our roads,
Right.
if we don't overpackage, then whatever we are trying to sell, export,
Right.
is going to reach there in ruins.
Right.
So it's a loss. And I've been shouting about this since years, that you have to understand how important your roads are, because still 80-90% of our transportation happens by road.
Yes. Very
So a well-calibrated machine that leaves the factory absolutely perfectly well, however well you package it, just as it leaves the factory gate and hits a gadda, the calibration is gone.
Right. Right.
So your export dies right there.
Right.
And it's amazing that nobody sees this.
Hmm.
And then they still think that we're going to, win the world with our products. So every other country where you look at, their priority, whether it's for the sake of tourism or for the sake of industry, whatever it is, it's always that your infrastructure
Has to be.
has to be. There you don't kind of mess up.
Yeah.
You do your whatever,
Yeah.
dealing and wheeling elsewhere, but not at the cost of your roads.
Yes. But I'm sure you'll agree with me, Gujarat has always had much better roads than the rest of the country.
That was the case.
Yeah.
I have to say that also because the first person to build roads in this state was my grandfather.
Yeah, but of course, governance becomes an issue. And in the more recent years, it is an issue.
Yeah. So previously it was like this, that you left Gujarat and you came on to Maharashtra,
Yes.
and you felt the difference because from the smoothness you went into the
Absolutely. That was,
Now it's the other way around.
that was a very famous story.
Yeah. So obviously much needs to be done. Like you said, the paperwork is in its place, and everyone has to play a role in this, right? So there has to be a lot of understanding about what you're living in, what it means, what is the story it will leave behind. It's not just, about your ancestors,
Yeah.
but it's also about your future.
Right. Right.
And I think Churchill said, the further you look back, the further you can look ahead, you know. So I think that taking that into account. You've worked a lot on citizens' movements.
Yes.
How do you see this happening now with heritage?
I'm very
And which kind of generation would you like to focus on? You know, sometimes it's useful to have the senior citizens, sometimes it's useful to have the middle-aged, and sometimes it's useful to have the really young.
So I look at Saanjhi Virasat as a movement in itself, and I find that the younger generation, the ones that are either in college or have just passed out and started working, those who are, in that whole journey of trying to understand what it is that they really want to do, what is the meaning and purpose of their life, things like that, that generally young people do kind of approach. I think those are the people who would be most amenable to owning up to this movement.
I just saw a viral video right now where the question is asked, who built the Taj Mahal Hotel in Bombay? And it's gone from Shah Jahan to Akbar, but not to the Tatas.
So, I mean, while one cannot do without the wisdom and the knowledge of senior citizens and, their very stable and steady approach to issues, I think somewhere I feel that we need the zest and the power of young people to take this ahead.
I've also seen in a lot of other countries where monuments are restored, conserved, and given another activity.
They are repurposed.
Repurposed.
Yes.
And I think that has also worked very well for these kind of buildings.
Yes.
Classic examples for India are these palaces that have been converted into hotels.
Yes.
But we can do much more than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have, let's say now post offices will disappear.
Yeah.
I just discovered that our Navrangpura bus stand is gone. Completely. I thought they would repurpose it. But it's gone.
Wow.
Which is really, really sad.
Because,
yeah, it was a statement of brutalistic architecture in that sense.
Yes.
We lost Relief Cinema.
Yes.
We lost Rupali. And they were all iconic buildings. We've lost also...
We lost the murals that were on the facade of Rupali Cinema.
But even opposite the zoo.
Maninagar?
No, where the children could come and play. What is it called?
Balvatika.
Balvatika. Even Balvatika has gone.
Really?
So, this childhood thing of standing in front of those mirrors and that ship in which you could go and see the latest toys and all that, all gone. So, not only has my childhood disappeared because I aged, but it's disappeared from the city because it's just been wiped away. Natraj Cinema has gone. All the cinemas on Ashram Road have gone.
Yes.
So much of our childhood is wiped away.
Yes.
And
no, you're right. We really seriously need to think of repurposing our, not just our heritage, but also all these old buildings that might be there. Even if you see very close to Law Garden, you have all these very old, quaint, very sweet houses that are kind of losing it out to, multi-story buildings.
Yes.
And that used to be a road that I used to love.
Me too. I grew up in that area as well.
So, I mean, it is really sad that we are not able to look after our buildings and just at least preserve portions of it. And I'm just kind of very, very apprehensive about what would happen to the pole houses.
Yeah.
With their beautiful woodwork
I've seen a lot go.
Yes.
A lot has disappeared in the last few years.
Yes.
But what also bothers me is when we talk about sustainability all the time, that every time you break down something and rebuild, it's a waste of a lot of materials and energy.
Yes. I would like to bring you back to something very positive. Uh, an example of a country like Uzbekistan, which was under Russian rule for 90
Yes.
years, and they totally disregarded any religious building that might have been there. So madrasas were converted to hotels, and other buildings were converted to other things. But Uzbekistan as a country has gone back into reviving bare monuments, which were in an abysmal state, but not necessary that they are making everything into madrasas and mosques. They are also looking at it in a very modern way, where they are trying to understand the need of the hour. So they know that they need more hotels. So many of their monuments they are kind of converting into hotels and guest houses, which is really amazing. To break, we also cannot have culture binding us down.
True.
You have to have a modern approach to things.
True.
And given the fact that as India, when we partitioned in 1947, and we have never, our government has never really been able to promise us employment, but heritage is such a beautiful way of giving employment to so many people.
Yeah.
So many ancillary
Tasks,
industries
yes.
can also survive on this. So
Yes.
from that perspective also, I do not understand why we are not approaching it as a priority.
But then look at it like this. Why do we visit other countries? To see their heritage,
Yes.
their monuments.
Yes.
So it's a big part of tourism.
Absolutely.
And tourism means money. I was, one of my first recordings here was with the urban planner from Amsterdam City. And he said, we did it so well that we now have to stop. You know, that it's kind of detrimental to our own lifestyles. We became so tourist focused.
Wow.
So now they're, stepping back and making other adjustments to do this. But Amsterdam, for that matter, was something that everybody wanted. And all cities had these logos pop up all of a sudden, But that is the success that they had.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, if you go, they very clearly, zone their cities. What is pedestrian, what is not, which monument gets priority. And we've done that. We already have the grading done in our city. So I think we just need to work really hard at educating the next generation.
Yes. And also those who are policymakers right now, not just the next generation.
I think also it has to be an ongoing thing.
Yes.
It can't end like we did it once, now it ends. No, no. I think every maybe 5 years we have to revisit the same thing with the new people and do this again and again. What would your message be to kids who are now going to be, let's say, coming out of 10th standard, 12th standard, or even graduating from, college?
Well, I would say that, explore, try and find out the correct history, try and understand what the place was all about. Do not take for granted what is told to you. I mean, because history has so many facets.
Yes.
It cannot be viewed in just one lens. And you cannot be viewing history from your current position right now.
Yes.
Because what existed then was made for a purpose according to
circumstances
that time.
were very different.
Yes.
And I think also this thing we started with, where currently we have this thing that everybody looted us.
Yeah.
But I always start with, okay, then whatever they contributed, let's get rid of it. And mostly that is a lot of food. So you start, minusing your potatoes, your tomatoes, your bananas, your
Coffee.
your tea, and your melons and your nuts and whatever,
Yeah.
your Maggie,
Yeah.
your chocolate,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, eat gawar every day.
No, no other vegetable can we eat?
Maybe some,
Kankoda?
yams and things like that, and
Parwal.
kathod,
Kathod.
and pulses, that is, and then a lot of spices, because those we really had. Yeah.
Thank God for that.
So I think we have to realize that heritage is not only ours.
Absolutely.
Even today, there is heritage from the British here, the Dutch, the French, and the Chinese, and whoever, and it's all part of our Saanjhi Virasat.
Yes.
So on that note, I hope you will continue with your activity.
I hope so.
And you gain a lot of success with it.
Thank you so much, Gauri. Thank you for having me here.
And I hope that this message also reaches a lot of people.
Yes, I hope so too.
And they join in and they get to understand that it's not about just your postcard collection,
Yeah.
which is also good. Yeah. Collecting things is also good, coins, stamps, whatever. It has so much history attached to it, but sometimes tangible stuff is also interesting and important to do. So
we have programs every month, and as you know, that everybody is welcome. We are on Instagram, so people are most welcome to join in.
There you have it. Join Saanjhi Virasat on Instagram. Keep a track on the events they do. There are many other such activities happening in the city. This is one of them. And this city can become a vibrant, culturally progressive city as it used to be once again. So take part. Thank you.